trust me, I grew my toy
There's a certain mystique when I speak that you notice that's sorta unique. Cause you know it's me, my poetry's deep and I'm still matic. The way I flow to this beat, you can't sit still. It's like trying to smoke crack and go to sleep. I'm strapped, it's knowing any minute I could snap. I'm the equivalent of what would happen if Bush rapped. I bully these rappers so bad lyrically. It ain't even funny, I ain't even hungry, it ain't even money. You can't pay me enough for you to play me. It's cockamania, you just ain't zany enough to rock with shady. My noodle is cock-a-doodle, my clock's cuckoo. I got screws loose, yeah, the whole kit and caboodle. I'm just brutal, it's no rumor, I'm numero uno. Assume it, there's no humor in it, no more you know. I'm rolling with a swollen bowling ball in my bag. You need a bag to come and tear a new hole in my ass.
I put that battery in his back. I'm the reason why he moves like that. I tell him pop that cat, we gon' pop that cat. You don't wanna play with my toy soldier. I say it's on in the zone until his life is every physicality. Boy, trust me, I got more. You don't want it with my toy soldiers.
Man, my nigga.
All you see is crooks about to go in, so look, red bones and red bottoms. Like Red Bull, we gon' give them wings, we red dot them. Candy rappers, send them in, we red hot them. Headshot them, go against my grain, get head problem. Big dummy, garbage rappers, we red fox. Shoot an actor in hot depth in red box. Tip the scales in my favor, stay in your top 10. If life's like a triple beam, I'm weighing my options.
Red man, my nigga. Who else? A double OG in the game with 2 G's on the belt. Yo, Indo, massive Indo. I'm breaking your dress code. I ain't rocking Kid and Cole.
Y'all like wild meth, you high meth. Keep a big popper, cause I ain't ready to die yet. I digress, or I'm just too intense to digest. Stretched in a Pyrex, compliments to my chef. I'll be the first to tell these rappers, get your paws up. Shout to P, you know what's havoc when we mob up. I tell that smut, they over, pull your jaws up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up.
Mirror, mirror, on the wall. Who is the brightest one of
Throw your squad up.
Mirror, mirror, on the wall.
Cigar guts, all up in the club, put the squad up.
We the dogs getting chased by the pussycat. West Coast, baby, with so much gravy. You should call the Navy. Ever since the 80s, I've been doing good. They've been doing bad. When I see you walk by, I'm pursuing that. But never taste it. My game is so basic. Soon as I lace it, baby wanna taste it. Just face it, put me to the test. Ice Cube and ace it. I'm built for success. We wanna party like a rap star. In the club, in the house, or the backyard. You make it rain with guns. I make it rain with guns. And we get lap dance from nuns. They put away they crucifix and they say I
be the first to tell these rappers, get your paws up. Shout to P, you know what's havoc when we mob up. I tell that smut, they over, pull your jaws up. Cigar gut, all up in the club, putting squad up.
mirror, mirror, on the wall. Who is the flyest one of
Throw your squad up.
Mirror, mirror, on the wall.
Cigar guts, all up in the club, put the squad up.
Yeah, this is the sign of the times, one of a kind, and this might blow your mind. This ain't no TV show, wow, wow, yippee yo, standing on your tippy toe, nigga, here we go. Yeah, Crenshaw Boulevard, everywhere niggas hard, left on burning by my auntie's 1 yard. No disrespect or disregard. Shout out to the whole dip hard, brick hard, used to pop lock. You turn on the wrong street and you really got rules of the city like V5, creep smoke in a foam car.
I'll be the first to tell these rappers, get your paws up. Shout to P, you know what's havoc when we mob up. I tell that smut, they over, pull your jaws up. Cigar gut, all up in the club, putting squad up.
Mirror, mirror, on
Throw your
the
squad
wall.
up.
Who is the flyest one of
Throw your
all?
squad up.
Mirror, mirror, on
Throw your
the
squad
wall.
up. Cigar guts, all up in the club,
On
putting
the
squad
wall.
up.
Mirror, mirror, on the wall. Who is the flyest one of all? I see you looking at me. We don't give a fuck what you looking at. We gon' give it up.
my gangsta name is just a freak elite. Come in the paint, looking for a little company to play me. So I got to get on the grind. Nate Dogg's on the track, so sing it one time. And you know I like it like that. And if you see a little baby, I'ma work it like that. I'ma act like that. I got some game like that. And if you're naughty little mommy, then I do it like that. Where you at in the streets, in the club, in the bogo? Black, white, Asian, Mexicans, all loco. Grab a cup, there's a toast to killing again. I've been doing this for years, and you know my name. Oh, you know my gangsta name. You know the set I claim. You know I got several hoes, but you still remain. I don't feel right. No pain. Wanna come give it to me, but you can't. I can't start to possessive pain. Pass me the guns and let me do my thing. Pass the ganja and I pass it back. Pass me the bottle and I twist the cap. Pass me the mic and I'ma bust a rap. Got fingers on the track, making everybody clap. Now don't stop, cause the party just began. I'm in the club getting buzzed and it's only 10. Seen the girl in the corner and I moved up big. All drinks on me, so ladies call your friends. And you know girlies, we on the clock. Giving her another shot, cause she's gonna get hot. On the top, keep it locked, and she's staying top notch. Everybody in the party, parlay in the spot. Cause I like it, and that's the way we get down. So everybody from my town, sing it out loud. You know my name, cause I'm deep in the game. Mr. Capone with an E and I'ma stay the same. Oh, you know my gangsta name. You know the set I claim. That's right. You know I got several hoes, but you still remain. I don't feel one in no pain. Come give it to me, but you can't. I can't start to possessive pain. Pass me the guns and let me do my thing. I'm gonna take it straight to the flow. Come on, girl, to play my song. That's right. We gon' party all night long. Party till the break of dawn. Do it till the cows come home. Cause I like it. Ladies keep doing the thing. Sexy ladies keep on doing the thing. Cause I like all the DJs packing the things. Give it up one night, I'm saying. That's the way we party, and it don't stop. 2 in the morning and we still taking shots. Ladies know we got a little of fame. I'm taking one home tonight so she can scream my name. Yeah, you know my gangsta name. You know the set I claim. You know I got several hoes, but you still remain. I don't feel born in no pain. Wanna come give it to me, but you can't. I can't start to possessive pain. Pass me the guns and let me do my thing. I like all my West Coast homies, they like it. All my dirty South homies, they like it. All my Midwest homies, they like it. All my East Coast homies, they like it. All my South Side homies, they like it. All the Far East homies, they like it. All the California homies, they like it. Worldwide in the streets, they like it. Mr. Capone, the one and only. Yeah, Nate Dogg. Always and forever. Worldwide. Cause I like it. Party don't stop. Cause I like it.
Next heavyweight champion of the world.
My road to glory filled with thorns. Fluid thoughts from my brain and I trained to remain strong. They said I couldn't do it. Locked me in chains till my struggle's closer to the pain of a trained killer. Please believe that I'll never be shared again. Or can I be the next heavyweight champion? Call me crazy, but no one can fade me. I'm the product of the project. Lost and crazy, throw your hands up. Mr. Bruno, ride. Big Mike Tyson about to brutalize that ass tonight. No hesitation for the whole nation. I'll be dead ass so bad I'm body piling probation. You demonstration as I strategize information. Intent to kill, so for real I can catch a case. Let the world know I plan to die. If I don't leave with what I came for, won't be denied. Rhymes, rounds for the times that I spit in the sand. The second rounds for the media and the lies they tell. The third rounds for the pain that I felt inside. Let's recognize I'm born tonight. Rhymes, rounds for the times that I spit in the sand. The second rounds for the media and the lies they tell. The third rounds for the pain that I felt inside. Let's recognize.
That's all good. Cause our fight always been a soldier. Ain't nothing to stop me but yourself.
nigga who got death. They kill my homie and I'm restless. Gotta get him back. A nigga with a Mac and a death wish. Tears in my eyes, don't cry. Look up in the sky, wonder why. Do everybody gotta die? Another soldier in the casket. Can't eat, can't stick till I bully the bastard. His family is smaller than the pieces. His mama don't understand the madness. I can't explain the drama and it hurts the most when it's someone close. Mama, don't cry. I'm losing hope and any dope can see. Wish tears in my eyes, don't cry. And ain't nobody born a killer, but it hurts the most. It hurts the most. Taking the sound, second round for the media and the lies they take. The third round for the pain that I felt inside. First round for the times that I spent in the cell. Second round for the media and the lies they take. The third round for the pain that I felt inside. Let's recognize I'm divine. I need more than just romantic feelings. When shit is frantic, need a bit that took the scandals. To be a villain, have a bachelor and cold feeling. Mind for numbers, say to wonder with the thug dealing. Thug feelings make me a villain till I'm pH and balancing millions. Don't let them hurt feelings turn this lesson to a killing. Games feeling my prophecy fulfilling. To be involved with a killing must be willing. Listen, lady, what does it take to get you out of crazy? That you won't know the 38 and bust a fool and blame me. This is how I plan the night. First we ride on the bus, then we dine, eating dinner by candlelight. Be alert and putting work with a thug's path. And I'm a king and a queen up in Thug's match. Me, I'ma never be a bust, I ride for peace. I know you shy, but please reply. Would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Don't you ever tell a lie, it's goodbye to me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you blow more niggas when they lie to me? Let them ever tell a lie, goodbye to me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me? Would you blow more niggas when they lie to me? Let them ever tell a lie, goodbye to me. Would you die for me? Tell me, baby, would you ride for me?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, players and pimps, we'd like to welcome you all to Los Angeles, California. Yes, sir. I'm a Long Beach East Side mad ass lunatic gang bang slap a bitch nigga up in here, yeah. On the grind getting mine, ask the homies on the 920. You know we still own niggas who talk real niggas feel this. Let's get rich under the sun with the young 2-1s, TLC. Whoever wanna see me now, you looking like me. I guess you wanna be me now. It take a whole lot to be Snoop Eagle Dub. You got to put it down and always stay G'd up. All-star shoes with the G apparel. If up, I might bust a pair of Stacy Adams. You never catch me looking R&B. I might be in a 3-piece suit looking. If it ain't chronic, don't blaze it up. And if it ain't a Chevy, don't race it up. You know we keep it banging, don't fake the funk. Real niggas stay gangstered up. We making paper suckers only claim to touch. By sticking to the script and never changing up. You know we keep it banging, don't fake the funk.
general rule at active self-protection that if you don't mess with people and instigate fights, your chances his wife in the parking lot with their cars is not like with his fists, but with cars. And the guy in red's like, hey man, I'm trying to control my temper. He's apparently a kickboxing champion, whereas the guy in yellow is a student. So he knocks him over with a judo kind of little foot sweep there, but the guy in red gets up and then it's kind of on. Student goes down and catches the bridge of the foot right across the face, and you can see here that he is absolutely having a concussive seizure here. The guy in red stops, quits attacking him here, but you can definitely see the kind of body posturing that we've seen in NFL players when they get really bad concussions.
Tervetuloa jälleen Temptation Island Suomen parisuhteita tuhoavan rutistukseen, rakkaat katsojat. Viime kerralla jo hieman kiusateltikin paljastuksella, että leikkiin liittyvät mukaan uusi pari, Joanna ja Leo. Koska Skumppa K tarvitsee luonnollisesti jonkin tekosynnykeä liemiä heti aamusta, hän rupattelee käsidesin katkuisena tämän kaksikon valmiiksi tulevaa koitosta varten.
Mikä oli motiivi lähteä tänne?
Varmaan suurin oli luottamusongelmat.
Eli että sais vahvistusta sille teidän parisuhteelle tän reissun myötä.
Joo, tai mä pystyisin itse tuntea uudestaan semmoista tietynlaista luottamusta ihmisiä kohtaan.
Niin tää on kova testi sille kyllä.
Disa ja Meido kurvaavat hakemaan nämä kaksi kohti helvettiä. Mutta ennen sitä Joanna ja Leo pääsevät tutustumaan resortteen sinkkukattaukseen.
Tuli samoin pieni stressi, että mä en tiedä yhtään mitä ne esim. Ajattelee musta, onks ne nähnyt aikaisemmin, kun mä oon ollut temppareissa.
Ei kukaan varmasti ole. Hei Joanna, tuu sisään vaan!
No, millä sä mennään iskeen meitsi mimmin täällä?
Sen näkee sitten.
Onko Leo ulkoisesti sun? Miestyyppi.
Kun mulla ei ole oikeesti mitään ulkonäköpreferenssejä niinku miehissä.
Joannan saapuminen naisten resortille ei olisi voinut osua parempaan paikkaan, sillä nyt jo Piritaakin tungetaan karanteeniin kaltereiden taakse. Jättäen ahnaiden sinkkumiehien kanssa krepauksen keskelle vain masentuneen Julian, joka on toistaiseksi ollut yhtä hilpeää seuraa ja seurattavaa kuin sureva leski monttuineessa. Tämä tappajaviruksen tuoma äkillinen kuoleman pelko toimii kuitenkin kenties nyt tai ei koskaan defibrillaattorina, tai sitten Julia ei halua jakaa huomiotaan, mutta oli miten ollut, tämä huomion keskipisteenä oleminen sai hänet heräämään kuomistaan. Ja Julia nykäisekin kaikkien yllätykseksi tärpätillä maksansa merimies solmulle. Vaikka Julia laittoikin viinasta voimaantuneena härskeimmän tissipaitansa päälle tätä iltaa varten, jonka hymynmuotoisesta herkkuaukosta valahtavat miltei superpallot estraadille kun hiemankin kyyristyy, uusi liha himottaa nähtävästi kuitenkin eniten, kun sinkkumiehet piirtävät Joannaa kuin herkkuperson susilauma pääsiäispupua.
Sieltä sai semmosia tietynlaisia katseita, niin kuin, että oli tervetullut olo.
Ei helvetti. Jopa minun kolkossa kaksiossani on paremmat bileet viikonloppuisin, ja sekin rima on asetettu maanpinnan alapuolelle. Miesten puolella Disa käy kiinni Leon kuin iilimaton verilettuun, ja hänen rynnäkköperseensä on päässyt karkuun hihnastaan. Joten Leon ensimmäisiä aistielämyksiä resortilla onkin juuri Disan aromipesästä tupruava tuoksu hänen naamallaan. Vuodet sen kun vain valuvat, ja mietin varmaankin harmaantuessanikin sitä, miten nämä perseinfarktit koetaan seksikkäänä.
Pillu tuulettuu tässä.
Mutta nyt kun kerran perseet ovat jo pöydällä, Arttu jatkaa myös tällä hyväksi todetulla linjalla, ja myös hänen tuoksutunnelillaan tulee äkillinen avoimien ovien päivä.
Laittakaa silmät kiinni, tässä on teille persereikä!
Hän on myös alkanut pelata sen verran hämmentävää 4D-gimpleä, etten usko, että hän edes itsekään tietää, millaisella pelilaudalla hän vaapuu tällä hetkellä. Eikä tiedä kyllä kukaan muukaan.
Kun eikoisesti pään sisällä ei oo ketään muuta kuin minä. Mä vaan pakoilen todellisuutta muilla ihmisillä.
Tää on mulle peli.
Ei ole mikään elämänpeli.
Ei ole elämänpeli, mutta siis...
Erikan äänessä on havaittavissa aivan aitoa pakokauhua, kun hän luulee astelleensa takaisin elämän peliin kaikkien näiden vuosien jälkeen.
Mä haluan sut paljon myöhemmin, vaikka mä oon sosiaalisesti epäpätevä. Luuletko, että mä en osaa johdatella sua siihen, mitä mä tarviin? What the fuck?
Mä en sano sitä sanaa houkutus, koska se kuulostaa väärältä. Mari on vaarallinen.
Ei. Mari olisi vaarallinen, jos hänen olisi teipattu läjä keittiöveitsiä ja hän juoksisi ympäri resorttia silmät sidottuina. Sinun vain panettaa. Mikankin mopo meinaa välillä lähteä keulimaan.
Mä voisin kantaa sut vaikka spiittiin.
Mutta Juhan töpöttelee nallemaisesti korjaamaan Mikan talteen ennen kuin hän vahingossakaan pääsee karvaiselle kiitoradalle asti päristelemään. Ja jos tämä Juhanin taktinen Mikan ryöstö ei olisi toiminut, tunnelman olisi viimeistään suolannut Semin äkkiväärä raivarin Rosalle.
Draamaa. Missä on mulle siitä? Ei meillä oo sulle asiaa. Siis me ollaan neljästä siinä istutaan ihan syystä.
Minulle jäi aavistuksen epäselväksi, mistä Semi tarkalleen ottaen kiivastui, mutta jokin Rosassa häntä kävi vituttamaan niin, että pelkäsi Rosan katoavan pian samaa jätesäkkiin, minne Vuosaaren prinssi survottiin.
Mä oon haistellut kelloja.
Sunkaan mä en kyllä puhu enää koko paskaa aikana.
Kaiketi tämä johtui siitä, että Semi, Arttu, Mika ja Juhan yrittivät punoa tulevia treffivalintojaan, kun Rosa tuli herkkukorinsa kanssa keikistelemään. Mutta aika pienestä Semillä kiehuivat sopat levylle.
Hyvää iltaa.
Iltaa.
Te näytätte ihan poikabändiltä. Genrestä mä en oo ihan varma, mutta...
Meidon kaljakarsasus on iskenyt Niinan polvet puuroksi kuin vasaralla aseistettu velkojen periä.
Siis mä en oo tottunut tommosiin noin intensiivisiin katseisiin.
Mutta tästä Juhan ei välitä vitun vertaa.
Ei aiheuta mulle mitään paniikkia asiasta.
Leenu saa taas hävetä, kun herrasmiehet Arttu ja Semi käyvät saparot kippurilla keskustelua papakoekokemuksistaan. Nimittäin painetta palleessa koettelemuksestaan.
Mari on vaarallinen.
Palleissa painetta.
Niin on jo 3 viikkoa kun tässä ollaan oltu, niin sitten se, kun ne kivet alkaa olla tuolla lahkeessa, niin kyllä se vittu Mari on vaara.
Painetta. Nopeaa se kasvaa.
Nyt sä pääset näkemään, miten mies juhlii sitten, kun sä oot muutaman kilometrin päässä.
Joo.
Mikä tossa osui?
No, Sami, olisiko se ollut vaikka tuo toisen naisen tissi vaikka oman kumppanin poskilainen, kun nimet on edes vaihdettu?
Muutenkin tommoset seksiasennot, on itse sanonut niistä myös mulle, että ei sitten mitään tommosta.
Näyttää hyvältä. Mut huomenna seuraavat bileet.
Kiitos seurasta, rakkaat katsojat. Näen mieleen ensi videossa. Moi.
Mikä sulla on fiilis tästä päivästä? Vitun paska. Hyvä, mä oon ihan samaa mieltä.
luottamus, rakkaus, onni.
Viinaa, kuumeita naisia, irtoseksi! Wow!
Kuka ei voi vastustaa.
What's going on, guys? I'm here with my favorite friend, Henry Cejudo, okay? You know, this is, when Henry asked me to talk about this, I feel like this is more for his YouTube, but I'll do it anyway. So, one of the biggest things I saw with the Islam versus Volkanovski fight was the clinch game, right? With Islam being, I think, 3 or 4 inches taller than Volkanovski, and Habib said this in an interview, he says, we're gonna tear him up in the clinch game. But each time Islam got the clinch game, he stayed right here, which allowed Volkanovski to go to the body and then come on top of the head, right? That's the biggest thing that I saw. What he needed to do is when he got this clinch game was direct Volkanovski, turn him this way, right? Because if I turn Henry this way and he goes for my head, I can turn him away from that. If he goes for the head again, I block here and I hit that knee, right? I'm exposing this liver shot. And when he goes up for the head again, here, it's also expanding his ribs, right? So that was the biggest thing that I noticed when Volkanovski and Islam were fighting, is that Islam would get that clinch, he would get it when he wanted, right? But then when he got here, he just stayed here and held him and didn't do anything with it. Instead of redirecting him, throwing the knees, and then when he wanted to get the sweep, because Henry brought this up, is like you never see Islam go down for a double leg takedown, right? With him being the taller fighter, that's a lot more elevation he has to get past even to get to his legs. But with the clinch, if he was using it correctly, go here, throw his knee, and go back this way, and then there's his trip. Like they're so good at it. Then he has the guard pass and the sweep without him going to a different elevation.
Damn, so that's fire, DJ. Even me, just you using that technique right now, just like, dude, it's so simple.
It's simple.
You move, he tries to go, you block, or it opens it up for a nice knee. Do you think he was just too linear? He was just too,
yeah. He would get here, and then he would stay here, and then.
So that's all you had to do is turn,
there,
boom. If he did hit,
yep, if he did hit,
block,
boom, there. Especially with him being a taller fighter, that's one of the things I noticed. I was like, dude, he's getting the clinch like he said he wanted to, like Habib said they were going to use, but he wasn't able to redirect him every single time. And, you know, it's when you're in the middle of the fight, it comes, it either comes or it doesn't. That's one of the things I didn't see come from him, was him moving him back and forth. So.
Yeah, what adjustments do you think that Islam's more likely he didn't have to do in this this second fight?
Teep, poke more. Right, because Islam's so good about staying here. He would never break this home position, right? Like even when you throw it, it would be like this. Right, he would never go like boom, boom, and like move, right?
It's too linear.
Too linear, it's always here. It's very good because she's protected, right? And I think he needs to be more about using the reach, poking more, throw higher stuff, poking more, to make him want to bait, and he throws something, then I can try to hit him. That's the biggest thing I think he needs to do. I think the grappling was good. I like to see him transition more from the back, get the body triangle, and then Volk's just doing this. Got to transition more. I wasn't seeing that, but it's hard because Volkanovski is good too, right? I mean,
Yeah, and I think we talked about it earlier. I think the biggest thing with the shorter fighter is trying to take somebody down. You know, look how much more I have to level change, even though we're about the same height.
Yeah.
Look at how much more I got to level change.
He's got 5 inches on me, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta go all the way down here.
No, because you know, us as shorter fighters, we're accustomed to maybe catching the hip strike right here.
Yeah.
This 3-4 inch span, dude, makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, it does.
And I want to say Islam is 5'11". Yep. Volkanovski's 5'6".
Yeah, so that's.
I mean, that's a whole lot. I mean, I think personally that where Islam probably needs to live a little bit more next time is going to be right here.
Yeah,
it's going to be right here. Get him high, get him on his toes to eventually just a simple snap down. Yep. Now you start looking.
Oh, I know that one
for other.
I know that one all too damn well.
For other tricks, because level changing to the legs is going to be too much. Unless you're going to really dive in and just elevate, go tackle. I think other than that, but I still think that if there's anybody that can make that transition, it is going to be Islam, even though Volkanovski is coming a lot more confident.
Yeah, well, that's it. And the biggest thing, too, is that I would love to see Islam shoot more, because it's not like Volkanovski is a jiu-jitsu specialist. It's not like he shoots, he's going to jump and do an arm bar, a guillotine, or like take that shot where it's like, fuck, I'm just going to go a shoot. He sprawls, right? And then he's just turning around. Now he's back where he is, catch him, instead of fighting him against the cage where Volkanovski's a lot stronger, right? But I mean, if I remember correctly, Volkanovski had him against the cage more. So even Volkanovski, on his part, making sure he wrestled more, right? Like, everybody never wrestles the Dagestanis, right? Yeah. It's almost like nobody ever grapples with Charles Oliveira, right? Yeah. But then once you start grappling with the person who never gets to actually grapple in a fight, you're like, holy fuck, I'm actually grappling somebody. I didn't expect you to grapple. So if Volkanovski goes, I'm gonna wrestle you, he's doing his thing, he's moving, you know, doing his check-in, and he goes, tries to go for it, he has a gas tank, why not?
And I think one of the biggest things that I was surprised that he didn't do, Demetrius, or he didn't bring it, is his kicks.
Yeah.
His kicks.
He hit him a couple times.
I was thinking fourth, fifth, pull him out, bro. Yeah. Pull him out, hurt him, break his foundation. Yeah. Maybe with the gas tank that he has, maybe he can start bringing in the hands in the fifth round. But who knows? Bro, I saw Islam's demeanor completely changed, and you can tell that these guys, they can talk about the gas that they have, but hey, they're human.
Yeah.
You can also deplete that gas tank.
Yep, absolutely.
So I think that's the biggest thing that I want to compliment more Alexander in some ways, but at the same time, I also saw holes in Islam, whether it's his striking, his defense, and even his wrestling.
Yeah. You know, it's perfect. That's what we're working towards, right? Just trying to be perfect.
I think I am. Well, there you have it. You watched the breakdown. We're out.
Hesburgerin herkut kotiin kuljettaa vain Foodora.
Since prehistory, humans have learned that living in groups ensured higher levels of security and better odds of surviving against the dangers of nature. large villages were built to lodge an ever-increasing number of people. As the ages passed, the villages turned into prosperous and bustling cities. To protect the cities, giant walls were built around them. The citizens could carry on with their lives without any concern. Humanity kept evolving towards more civilized and organized societies. There were still people in the world who maintained a nomadic lifestyle, preferring the freedom to switch from one region to another instead of establishing in one specific place. The distant plains of Mongolia were home to many nomadic tribes who still kept that simple way of life, surviving on wild animal hunting and goat and sheep farming. Since farm animals needed food constantly, there was a need to always be in search of new pastures. For that reason, the Mongols did not have established houses. The solution was to create camps capable of being disassembled and taken in wooden wagons, allowing an entire tribe to travel together with the herd to more fertile places. Life was not easy under those conditions. One family needed to share a tight space inside huts called yurts, built with a wooden structure and covered by a tent of felt or wool. Some larger tribes even occupied large portions of land with their huts, creating a promenade amid the hills. The tribes were commanded by tribal chiefs known as khans, responsible for deciding political and military matters. To help them travel long distances, the nomadic tribes specialized in the domestication of wild horses. Despite their short stature, Mongolian horses are very hardy and capable of running at high speed, making them a crucial resource in that environment. Horses were so important that the wealth of a tribal chief was measured by how many animals he kept. The Mongolian plains are hit by strong winds, and the days are almost always cold. But with the arrival of winter, the living conditions became really difficult. Those plains were also filled with groups of thieves and renegades who attacked the flocks to steal animals. They even invaded smaller camps in search of valuables or to kidnap women. The constant need for land for their herds incited rivalries between the Mongolian tribes, who often solved their differences with brutal fighting. Other nomadic peoples, like the Tartars, also made violent incursions against the Mongolian camps. For the Mongols, life was filled with challenges and uncertainty. To the powerful Chinese kingdoms, the Mongols were nothing more than pure savages who attacked caravans and small border villages, but were never seen as a real threat. For centuries, the Chinese dynasties tried to keep the tribes of Mongolia fighting each other, paying cash or goods to hire and bribe the local leaders. This ensured that they remained rivals. The Jin dynasty greatly hindered the development of the Mongols, since the borders were always threatened by the expansion of tribes. The Mongols seemed destined to live in mediocrity and forever in the shadow of stronger kingdoms. But in 1206, a man named Temujin used his fierce determination to win the right to be called the Genghis Khan, which can be translated as the Great Khan. Genghis Khan launched a campaign to unify the tribes. Those who refused to join him were put to the sword. Gathering a large number of warriors, Genghis Khan marched towards the proud Chinese cities. At that time, China was not a unified kingdom. It was divided by three great dynasties. The Tangut dynasty controlled the northern portion of Chinese territory. The Jin dynasty was located in the northeast, while the Song dynasty dominated the southern part of China. The Tanguts were the first target of the Mongols. Their territory was closer to Mongolia, and not all their cities had walls. The Mongols had no siege weapons and did not know the technology to build them, which made the walled cities extremely difficult targets to attack. But the Mongols had an advantage: time. They surrounded the cities and set up their traditional camps, just as they did for many generations. Chinese citizens no longer could go out to look after the crops or get any other source of food. The Mongols, on the other hand, had their flocks to ensure their livelihood. Sending soldiers to fight the Mongols in the open was a fruitless effort. For many centuries, the Mongols lived riding and hunting in the plains. Those skills made them excellent knights and archers. The Mongols used a type of bow that was reinforced with animal horns and tendons. This allowed the bow to shoot arrows from a long distance with amazing power and accuracy. The compact size of the bows also allowed agile handling, even during a full-speed gallop. When quarreling, the Mongols always sought to keep their distance, while punishing their enemies with a massive rain of deadly arrows. The Mongols highly valued military intelligence and were ambushing experts. One of the strategies most used by the Mongol warriors was to pretend to be retreating when attacked by large infantry or heavy cavalry. When enemy troops began to show fatigue from the chase, they were surprised by the quick maneuvers of the Mongols. The Mongols managed to control their horses using only their knees, leaving their hands free to handle weapons. This strategy allowed the Mongols to defeat more numerous and better equipped armies. But if it were necessary to fight closer combat, the Mongolian warriors could fight with great ferocity. The Mongol archers were known as Mangudai. They were trained from childhood to fight. These men spent so much time riding their horses that many developed problems with their leg joints. For the Mongols, no matter whether it would take weeks or months, the besieged cities would starve and be forced to surrender. The Mongols transformed the precious city walls into great traps to be used against civilized peoples. Nevertheless, the waiting always irritated the powerful Genghis Khan. He went on to completely shatter the cities that would not agree to submit to his army, maybe because they were subjected to a difficult and hostile life, or out of contempt for civilized peoples. The Mongols showed no mercy to their enemies. Taking prisoners was seen as something useless by the Mongols. They had no prisons and would have to feed more people. It was an unnecessary problem. It is estimated that about 30 million people lost their lives during the Mongol invasions in China. Cities were plundered and reduced to ashes, leaving a trail of devastation everywhere. Mongol cruelty was not just savagery, it was a form of psychological terror against their enemies. After all, if the population of an entire city was decimated for resisting an attack, in all likelihood, the next city would end up encountering the same bitter fate and would surrender without putting up a fight. But the Mongols were also practical, and they knew how to adapt quickly. They always tried to keep alive the Chinese noblemen and those with useful skills such as carpenters, cartographers, blacksmiths, and cooks. And with the help of Chinese engineers, the Mongols built siege weapons, which made the process of conquering cities faster. Even the great city of Beijing, with its 12-meter-high wall, failed to withstand the siege of the Mongols. The success of Genghis Khan's achievements brought even more warriors to join the army. The Mongols occupied a huge share of land with their camps. Some Chinese cities were spared as long as they accepted to pay a monthly tribute to the Mongols. The tribute was paid in gold and silver, high-quality wood, and precious silk rolls. The Mongols quickly began to adopt and adapt new customs and technologies, such as the manufacture of high-quality weaponry and armor, silk clothing, and jewelry. Even the horses used by the elite Mongolian warriors became equipped with iron-plated armor. By the year 1215, the Mongols already controlled the territories that had once belonged to the Tangut and Jin dynasties. The Song dynasty was the one left, which, thanks to its incredibly large army, managed to defend its borders against the Mongols. Under Genghis Khan, the Mongols accumulated great wealth and fertile territories, starting one of the greatest empires in history. In 1218, the Mongols ruled the conquered territories in China with an iron fist. The Chinese had paid a high price for underestimating the steppe barbarians. Now, they were forced to collaborate and obey their new sovereigns. The Mongols didn't give much value to coins or precious metals. They soon realized that it would be a waste to accumulate such things. With the help of Chinese experts, the Mongols learned that trade was the best way to make a kingdom prosper. Genghis Khan decided to make use of a large number of plundered coins and started sending emissaries to distant kingdoms like Korea, India, and Persia. The intention was to establish trade routes with other kingdoms while attacking the Song dynasty constantly. but one serious diplomatic issue changed the course of history.
Kun haluat parasta valmista. Herkullisimmat reseptit ja parhaat raaka-aineet ammattilaisten valmistamina. Atria Artesaani. Nyt 2 mureaksi haudutettua keittoa.
Forever, Persia was run by a Muslim empire called Khwarezm. The Mongolian emissaries who were sent to seek trade deals with the Khwarezm were accused of being spies and executed. Such an offense could not go without an answer. The Mongols set out to confront the brave Muslim armies. In command of 200,000 warriors, Genghis Khan advanced against large Persian cities. The Khwarezm had great armies with brave and well-trained knights. But even that wasn't enough to defeat the Mongols, who were fighting like angry wolves. The cities of Samarkand and Bukhara were besieged and shattered by the Mongols. The destruction was so massive that not even the animals were spared. Millions of human lives perished during the Mongol invasions in Persia. In 1220, the Khwarezm Empire was extinct, and the world knew it would never underestimate the Mongols again. The Mongols had already learned about the benefits of adding different types of soldiers to their ranks, and because of this, many Muslim warriors were allowed to join the Mongolian army. The gigantic Mongolian army had people of different ethnicities and cultures. Mongols, Chinese, and Arabs lived side by side in the camps. This had many benefits for the development of new ties between these peoples. The Mongols were incredibly tolerant of the religious and spiritual beliefs of other peoples, allowing cults and rituals of all kinds in their camps and cities. The religion of the Mongols is known as Tengriism. It's based on the belief of a supreme deity called Tengri, which would be heaven itself, above all things on earth. Tengriism incorporates shamanic elements and ancestor worship. However, over time, it has also come to include elements of Tibetan Buddhism. With the capture of the Persian territories, the Mongols had under their rule much of the famous Silk Road. The Silk Road connected the commerce of several countries, being used by caravans from more distant and exotic lands. It is where the most valuable goods of the time passed through. The Mongols did not forgive thieves. They kept relentlessly going after those who dared to commit crimes in their territories. Because of this, the Silk Road became safe for travelers and merchants, which popularized the term Pax Mongolica, Mongol peace. To control such a source of wealth was decisive for the emerging Mongol Empire. With this pretext, the Mongols set out for Europe, where they began to conquer lands in Russia and Ukraine. Nothing seemed capable of stopping the advance of the Mongol armies, commanded by generals with authority to decide when to attack or retreat. The Mongols divided their forces and attacked multiple targets at the same time, preventing the enemies to be reinforced. But in 1227, the great leader Genghis Khan passed away abruptly. His death brought a wave of uncertainty among the Mongols. Many leaders and generals believed themselves worthy of taking the title of Khan of the Khans. The successor of Genghis Khan was his third son Ogedei, responsible for continuing the expansion of the Mongol Empire. The other sons and grandsons of Genghis Khan were given command of territories that would become known as Khanates. As was expected of a son of Genghis Khan, Ogedei proved to be a strong leader. Under his command, the Mongols completed the conquest of northern China and completely dominated Korea. Ogedei managed to enter the territory of the powerful Song dynasty. That started a war that would last 40 years for the control of southern China. Following the model of divide and conquer, the Mongols continued to advance towards Europe. The Mongols had the leadership of one of the greatest generals and military strategists in history, Subutai. He had served Genghis Khan and now served Ogedei Khan. Subutai was a man of simple origins, but thanks to his achievements on the battlefield, he managed to rise to the rank of great general of the Mongolian nation and is said to be even a personal friend of Genghis Khan. Subutai lived up to his reputation. Together with other generals of the Mongolian army, he led an invasion against Russia. That in itself would be an act of courage given the vastness of Russian territory. and its history of having brutal warriors. But Subutai was not a common general, and neither were his tactics. Subutai invaded Russia in the middle of winter, progressing with his troops in temperatures below zero. The achievement was only possible thanks to the outstanding resilience of the Mongol warriors. The Russians fought bravely, but were unable to stop the Mongolian war machine. In 1240, the great city of Kiev was taken and plundered. Poland, Hungary, and Romania were the next kingdoms to fall. Not even the European knights, veterans of the Crusades, could answer the Mongol archers. The other European countries were already preparing for the inevitable invasion, desperately trying to send emissaries to negotiate with the Mongol leaders. But the Mongol Empire suffered another unexpected blow. In 1241, Ogedei Khan passed away due to alcoholism. As the Mongolian customs dictated, all the leaders of the nation had to gather to elect a new sovereign. This spared the rest of Europe from being annexed by the Mongol Empire. The election was presided over in the capital of the Mongol Empire, the city of Karakorum, which had been built in Mongolia. The death of Ogedei revealed the ambition of many nobles in Mongolian society. In the following years, there was an intense succession of leaders who fought for the title of Great Khan. That fueled armed conflicts among the Mongols. The Great Mongol Empire was already showing its first signs of instability. Years went by, and disagreements among the noble Mongols continued to weaken the empire. Then, one of Genghis Khan's grandchildren, the famous Kublai, defeated his younger brother's troops and claimed the title of the supreme leader of the Mongolian nation. The empire was divided into 4 major khanates. In 1271, the Yuan dynasty was founded by Kublai Khan and commanded the territories of China and Korea. Chagatai, the second son of Genghis Khan, founded his empire in northern Afghanistan, which was called Chagatai Khanate. The Golden Horde Khanate controlled much of Russia and Hungary and was founded by Batu Khan. The Il Khanate was centered in Persia and was commanded by Hulagu Khan. Kublai Khan conquered the last Chinese territories that resisted Mongolian domination. He became the first foreign emperor to rule all of China. As a child, Kublai was educated under the customs of the Chinese court. Soon, he became an educated man and enjoyed the luxury of civilized life, which was seen as a weakness by many traditionalist Mongol leaders. Kublai Khan's government was plagued by riots and political conspiracies. His territorial administration was not having good results, and uprisings frequently broke out at different points in the empire. In an attempt to fortify his position as leader of a warrior nation, Kublai wanted to conquer new territories, turning his attention to Japan. Compared to the Mongol Empire, Japan was a small and poor country. It looked like an easy target to conquer. Using Chinese boats, the Mongols assembled a large fleet and set sail for the Japanese coast. But they did not expect a sudden weather change. A strong typhoon hit the Japanese sea, and the Mongolian squadron was shattered. Their boats capsized or crashed into each other, causing the death of thousands of warriors in the turbulent waters. The Japanese baptized those strong winds of kamikaze, the divine wind. They considered that only divine intervention could protect Japan from being enslaved by the Mongols. In 1281, the Mongols crossed the sea yet again to attack Japan. This time, however, the Japanese navy was prepared and managed to block their progress. The few Mongol ships that arrived on Japanese beaches did not have enough warriors to defeat the samurai. Inspired by the need to defend their land, they fought with brutal determination. Kublai's reign suffered a major hit after the disastrous attacks against Japan. Slowly, the Mongol Empire began to crumble. The lack of an organized leadership opened space for revolts and the emergence of new kingdoms, which started to expel the Mongols from their old lands. The Mongol Empire officially lasted until 1368, when it finally dissolved. Most Mongols returned to their homeland as nomads. Even nowadays, there are still many people who lead a simple life in the Mongolian steppes. But their stories will always keep alive the pride of their ancestors, preserving the legacy of having one day covered the sun with their arrows and made the earth tremble under the hooves of their horses.